Hello, today I'm talking to Andrew Taylor about Tenant Manager and loads of other stuff that I've got to ask him. So let's jump in. So Tenant Manager, I did a live stream the other day about it, and I understand the premise of it, I think, but I didn't build it. We haven't really talked much about it, apart from the fact that you were building it and you were working on it with the Software Central team. So really, I've had a few questions just to go over, and hopefully you can tell me more about it.
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, so who is Tenant Manager for?
Tenant Manager is really for anyone who manages Intune tenants. It was originally built with MSPs in mind who have multiple tenants to build and manage, but then we realized that enterprises should be backing up and restoring their configurations just as much as anyone else. So really anyone who has Intune should have it. You wouldn't have virtual machines without doing a backup before making changes. Why should Intune be any different?
How would I do that without this tool? Is there a way to do it without having to buy Tenant Manager? Surely.
There are ways. Settings catalog policies can be exported natively now, which they couldn't before.
Cool.
But that's relying on your entire tenant being settings catalog based, which it probably isn't. There are community tools available, but again, someone has to configure them and manage them and run them. And normally that's a more senior member of staff who could be doing something more important.
Mm-hmm. So if it's possible to do without Tenant Manager, but a bit more complicated and risky and costly, I guess. And we know who it's for, MSPs, enterprises, that kind of thing. Anyone who has a tenant to manage. Okay. But do I really need it? Why do I need it?
I mean, the big one's cyber insurance. It says you need backups. No one has specifically mentioned Intune in it yet, but we don't want a reason for them not to pay out in the event that there's a breach of some sort.
Hang on. So you're saying if I have cyber insurance, which I do have as a consultant, and I don't back my stuff up,
you're basically giving the insurance company a potential loophole there because they say everything must be backed up. Just because they haven't specifically said Intune, I imagine they haven't specifically said conditional access or Entra or possibly even emails at that point.
And insurance companies like loopholes.
They love a loophole. Yes, it saves them having to pay any money.
Indeed. That is terrifying. All right, fine. A common question I get for Robopack demos that I do, where is the data hosted?
So this is fully based in Azure. The whole thing is SaaS. When you sign up, you select your own region. So it's multi-region. You sign up, and we've got, I think, about 10 regions in there currently. We can spin up more as needed. So in my case, I put in UK South. We have customers in Switzerland, Germany, USA. It creates a database for you as a customer, and all of your data lives in your database. So it's in one region. We have backups, but again, they are within the same region.
Wow, so wherever I like.
Wherever you like, yes.
Wow. And presumably you're storing like personal data and...
No, I don't want personal data. We are storing JSON values of your policies. If you've got, a list of everyone's names and passwords in that policy, that's nothing we can control, but we store object IDs. So when you set up a user for RBAC, we've got the Entra object ID, which you can't reference with. When we do group members, again, it's just the object ID we're grabbing. We're not storing any names at all in the system.
That kind of is compliant with GDPR from a personal details perspective.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's handy because then you don't have to worry about it.
No, exactly. It's secure in a database. No one else can access the database, but also I don't have anything identifiable in there. Because if they need an object ID, they're in your tenant anyway.
Brilliant. So how does it connect? How does it actually do the stuff that it's doing?
We use an enterprise app reg. So when you sign up and register a tenant, it adds an app reg into the tenant, which we have a multi-tenant app reg. Our side, we used a managed identity. So there's no secrets, no anything like that. It's managed identity within Azure. So the app reg can only access things in Azure, and our Azure setup will only accept connections from that managed identity.
Right. I will admit that went a little over my head.
It's a security thing.
Okay.
So the databases, for example, you can't access those with a different app registration. It has to be our enterprise one.
Right. Good. And presumably I can connect my tenant and my customer tenants.
Yep. Yes.
To.
Yeah, it's as simple as clicking a button, register a tenant, and then popping your global admin to drop the app reg in.
Right.
If you don't have global admin, we need cloud application administrator.
Okay. But if I've got multiple tenants, can I have different? I don't want them all to look like my tenant. I don't want to back them up exactly the same way.
Absolutely, yes. So every tenant's slightly different. Whilst it's the ideal is that an MSP has all their tenants running off the same standard, that's not the case because they'll have different licensing, they'll have different selections of devices. So you could have a Windows house, you could have a Mac house. You don't want the same policies because they just won't apply. So we have templates available. So you can create a template of, say, this is our business premium set of users. And we can use that. So if I show you, not that one, this one. So I have a business premium template. It's not actually got business premium policies in, but we could have that as a template and say, right, that's what we use for our business premium tenants. We then go into our tenant and go into tenant settings, and you can say, right, I don't want to do this against my gold tenant. I want to do it against a template. So I've created my own templates here. And I select the business premium one. There. So that will now drift check that against the business premium. And we can use the same template to onboard them. So we can go into the deployment, select your template, and just select everything in it. And that's it. You add your tenant, you deploy your template, you drift check against your template, and forevermore you'll be comparing against that template.
And so I can just use that to onboard a new customer. If I get a new customer that I want to make sure is exactly as my other customers are.
Yep, exactly. You align it to whichever customer is most suitable, so a business premium in this case,
Right.
and within 5 minutes you're up and running and drift checking.
Wow. And backing up, I assume.
And backing
as well.
up, yes.
Wow.
Yes. Every night up to every month, depending on what you got it set to, it will do a backup, and it will do a drift check against itself and against your gold tenant.
Right. So you just showed Business Premium there.
Yep.
What other templates are available? Are there any?
So we have templates that we've built for you.
Right.
So if you scroll to the bottom of this list, you can see our ones. So we have EUC Toolbox, which is my deployment tool. So the idea is that you could, if you've already deployed using that tool, you can come in here and drift check against it without having to tweak any policies. We are CIS certified members, so we have the full CIS level 1 and level 2 benchmarks. SWC is our own curated one because CIS is a bit too restrictive for some, so we've created our own based on all of these plus Microsoft best practice. So that's if you're a small company you want to get up and running, that's an easy win.
Mm-hmm.
NCSC for the UK customers, and for the Australian customers we've got Essential 8, which is their baselines.
Right. And I use them just as you showed earlier on. You just
absolutely. So
select them and deploy them.
CIS level 2 it has 9 policies in it, and we can have a look through and even see what's in them. So there we go, the official CIS benchmarks.
Incredible. And so I'm not too familiar with CIS. I've used it to deploy to a couple of customers in the past, but they had to sign up to CIS and get access to a lot of PDFs.
Yes.
And go through that. Is that still the case with CIS, or is that changed?
So as a free user, they give you a PDF which you have to go through and manually create the settings. There are hundreds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've only got 9 policies in this level 2, but each policy has hundreds of settings.
Right.
Or you can be a paid customer and they give you access to the JSON, which you then have to import into your tenant, but it's JSON plus PowerShell scripts plus some others which won't import. So it's still a manual process.
Right. And I don't need to pay for CIS.
If you're using our tool, no, because we've paid for you.
Right. that sounds good.
Yes.
Because it's not cheap, is it?
It's not. It's a percentage of your revenue.
Wow.
So for big companies, it's a decent sized bill.
Yeah, indeed. Okay. So I mean, CIS is good, but how do I know that the policies that you're suggesting, SWC for example, and EUC, how do I know they're good?
So once you've deployed them to the tenant, we do CIS drift checking for you. Now you would never expect 100% hit rate on here because that would be unusable for a device. So we will have a look and we'll give you scores here. So 60's an amber, anything's above 75's a green because that's a solid, secure tenant. We can then look through and see which bits have drifted. So this one's failed because telemetry is not set to basic, for example. And we can click on there and update the policy, which will push the change out. We will also be adding an ignore button because there are some settings that you don't want to turn on. So CIS benchmark says that you must have Control-Alt-Delete every time you access your machine.
Right.
Which is fine unless you use Windows Hello for Business when you need Control-Alt-Delete and then your username and then your fingerprint. So that's one that we would normally turn off, but CIS says it should be there. So the option will be there to ignore it and say, I'm happy with this one, and your account will tweak accordingly.
Yeah, accept the risks.
Yeah.
And move on. Okay. I assume it supports Mac.
It does. It supports, if it's in Intune, it is supported. There's no Mac on here because there are no CIS benchmarks accessible for Mac currently, but in our baselines we have Mac policies available, and we can filter. You can filter on platform. So if I do, we'll grab one. So we'll set the backup. So this is from the gold, global gold. So if I select Mac, yeah, we have 8 policies in ours already. Obviously, if you're a big Mac house, you might have a lot more, but it definitely supports Mac out of the box.
I guess that's a super question. I'm kind of used to that question from Robopack because Robopack doesn't yet support Mac, and a lot of people have problems with Mac apps. Actually, on that note, does it do apps?
It doesn't do anything with apps. We can't back up and restore Win32 apps because they are encrypted in blob storage, and there's no way of getting the encryption key. Right. So even if we could back them up, you can't do anything with them. iOS and Google Play apps, you can't back up and restore because they're too closely linked to the App Store underneath. But we will have Robopack integration, so Robopack can do the apps bit for you.
Right. Yeah. And that will be just integrated into the platform somehow?
Yep, absolutely. So it's tabbed browsing. If you look, we have tabs across the top. So we will simply put Robopack within a tab and pass the single sign-on through. So if you're logged into here, you're logged into Robopack.
Wow. Okay, that sounds pretty good. There must be other products on the market that do this.
Yes. Yep, there are, obviously, like I said, there's community things that do something similar. And there are 2 or 3 other competitors doing the same approach. Some do it slightly differently, so some use DevOps underneath, for example, which is solid but not great for your smaller companies. And some are probably slightly ahead on functionality currently, but they've had a decent head start. But I think we will catch them. Our big selling point is that we're a European company based in Denmark. As I said, the data is multi-region, but it is all European.
Yeah. Are you developing this yourself?
I have a team of developers building it. I'm a PowerShell script person, not a .NET coder. So I have a team building this for me. I come up with the ideas and then they build it for me.
So you're more the vision. The
vision and the graph expert, yes, because as we know, graph is a complicated thing to tame.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I mean, that's always been my problem. I have a lot of thoughts of things I want to do and build and problems I can solve, but I am not very good at scripting.
Yes, I've tried it, but...
You built AUC Toolbox.
I did, but it's not quite as fluid
as
this one. You don't get the feedback. It's slower, and it's just not as polished as this is.
Yeah. I guess it's good that you can kind of you can also have more critical eye on it, and you can find
Exactly.
problems, and
Yes.
and
Yeah.
rather than kind of thinking I can't be bothered to solve that, I'll leave it in. You
Yeah.
can just give that problem to someone else and
Yeah.
make
If
sure
I
they
if
solve
I
it.
find a bug rather than going, well, it's not that bad, I'll just skirt around it. This way I can stick it on an issue log and speak to them and say, I found this bug. Can you fix it? And they'll be fixed fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm. Is there a roadmap?
There is a public accessible roadmap. So it's here. So you can see what we're working on now. Later. Later is still not that far away. We've built what we've done in 6 months, so you can imagine the roadmap moves quite quickly.
Yeah.
And it's public, so people can add their own feedback on here. We've had 2 customers add some already. We want to build it for the users because we're a small company. We can move quickly, and if someone needs a particular functionality on there, chances are there'll be others who need it as well. So I'll add it to the roadmap. You can vote on things, you can comment on things, and I'll take it on board and see if we can build it.
Sorry, so if I put a title and description there, it just adds it to the list, or
Yep.
do you
Nope,
like
it adds
check it?
It adds it to the list,
Alright.
and then I will get alerted, and I will have a look and see if it's possible.
Wow.
And
Or if maybe it's already there, and
it could be already there, in which case you can vote and comment
right.
on the idea.
Brilliant. So it says dashboards on there,
Mm-hmm.
and what is that about?
So this is both for MSPs and enterprises. Monitoring users' devices, especially across tenant, is painful. You'll be switching between Entra, you'll be switching between Intune. If you've got more than one tenant, you've probably got 14 Edge profiles loaded. And there are some things you just need to see every day. You know, which are my non-compliant devices? Which users have had 6 failed sign-ins in the last 24 hours? The things that you want to monitor, but companies just don't have time for. So we are going to build dashboards, which will be multi-tenant, and flag all these things up. So here's all of your non-compliant devices with a button to kick off a sync, for example. Or these users have failed sign-ins, these users haven't logged in for 60 days, with buttons alongside. So disable, reset password, revoke sessions.
Right.
So you can just go in here and rapidly just click buttons and get your tenant back in line.
Add device management features?
Yep, so this is, again, for both enterprises and MSPs. In Intune, to be able to go and grab a lapse password or BitLocker key, you need to have permissions to Intune. And Intune RBAC is complicated. Most people just end up getting Intune admin, which is fine, but there are some people that you probably don't want to be able to wipe and fresh start and reset devices.
Mm-hmm.
So we will add the features in here for the day-to-day tasks. So sync a device, collect logs, get the lapse password, get the BitLocker key. And that way it can sit in here, it can sit behind our own RBAC, so these users don't need any Intune access anymore. You can just go in here and quickly grab a lapse password from a device without having to log into Intune, authenticate to Intune, check you've got the right permissions, probably activate PIM, and work your way through all of that.
That's
It'll
a good point.
Quick and easy.
How you should be doing it as an MSP is having all of a separate admin account
Yes.
for customer, unless you're using, maybe if you're using the partner portal for some things.
But
I guess
GDAP is complicated.
Yeah, but I guess it's a similar concept, right?
It is, yeah, exactly. It's a similar idea.
Looks over all the tenants, and you can back it up and restore it, but also do those tiny management tasks.
Yep. So your enterprise can give the service desk access to this to do, and we've got multi-admin coming as well. So you could give the service desk access to do restores, for example. But when they click restore, it doesn't actually do it until someone more senior is logged in and checked it's all okay.
Nice. How much does it cost?
The cost is depending on the number of devices and tenants. So for an MSP, it's a per tenant pricing. For an enterprise, it's a per device, Windows device per year. The pricing's on the website. It's incredibly cheap because we think everyone should have backups. So we want to make it worthwhile.
Right. So you say the pricing's on the website, but it's also slightly complicated pricing. What was that?
Yeah, so for enterprise, it's per Windows device per year on a sliding scale. Obviously, the more device you've got, the cheaper it gets. For MSPs, because they tend to charge their their clients on a monthly basis, it's a per tenant per month, so they can just add it on the bill
Right.
for the customer.
Right. But you say the pricing's there. I can look
Yep,
at it
absolutely.
now and
All
figure out how
online.
much it would cost.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, that's incredibly transparent.
We try to be. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty much all I had to ask, actually. Are you happy with it?
I'm very happy with it. Yes. Yeah, because I had ideas. I built the toolbox.
Yeah.
I knew what I wanted this to do, but we have built something better than I first imagined it. It's
Awesome.
yeah. Considering we've had 6 months, it's and we have customers, and my calendar is full with demo calls and customer bookings. It's
Yeah, I appreciate you coming in. You have had to jump out and do a demo already.
yes.
So I appreciate you coming in to talk through it. Surely the best place to start would be a trial, though.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't know what your demo's like.
Yeah, we have free trial available.
Right.
Literally just sign up, and away you go. And that way, it's the best way of testing anything, because I can do a demo, but you never know if it's a proper demo or not. So it's best to have a trial.
I assume there's some support available for
Yep.
people if they
Yes,
get stuck?
obviously we're a big company, so we have full support available.
Right.
There's a dedicated, if you look in the platform, there is actually a dedicated support button. Click there, and it will send a message to our support email address.
Very good. Okay, well, thanks for coming in. Good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and obviously, if you have any questions about Tenant Manager or anything, don't come to me. I have no idea. Speak to Andrew. I'm assuming they can get access to you on LinkedIn and
LinkedIn, email, Teams, send a carrier pigeon. I'll find a way of getting in touch.
Very good. All right. Well, good to see you.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
See you.